Japan's involvement in World War II was in September of 1940. Japan signed the Tripartite Pact with Nazi Germany and Fascist Italy, in which they agreed to assist one another. The first attack Japan performed in World War II was by launching a surprise attack on USA Army, which opened around 6 and 7 a.m. It was called the Pearl Harbor on December 7th of 1941. The Japanese tortured the other country's soldiers, Dutch, Pows, Australian, US, British, by starvation. They also had a type of concentration camps called the internment of the Japanese American. They also had a type of self-torture called hanaraki. This was the ritual they did after they noticed that they would die in front of the other, or basically the enemy. It consisted on stabbing yourself with a blade. The most important symbols were the hachimaki. This was a bandana that the kamikazes or most of the army used in the head. This symbolized the prayers and blessings written by the relatives on the background of the flag of Japan. The purpose of the Japanese in World War II was to show the Nazis that they could be similar to them, strong, brave, fast, and intelligent. They also wanted to have all the Pacific in their power, for example, Hawaii, China, Australia, New Zealand, etc.
The most common attacks of Japan in World War II was Pearl Harbor, that took place at 6 a.m. in the morning in Honolulu, Hawaii. They wanted to have all the Pacific Ocean and territory, so they attacked first this part of the Pacific. They killed in total 2,390 people that died in that moment. Other attack was Iowahima. Iowahima is a small island located at 7,500 miles south of Tokyo, Japan. It was a strategic location for fighter planes and bombers to land and take off. This war placed 36 days of fight. Today, a statue of Marines raising a flag on the island of Iowahima serves as the Marine Corps Memorial in Washington, D.C. There were many battles over island in the South Pacific. This includes Tarawa, Saipan, and Iowahima. Finally, other attack was the Guadalcanal was between US and Japan. It marked the first time entering into war since the US had gone on the offensive and attacked the Japan. It took 6 months from August 7, 1942 to February 9, 1943. This island was a naval force were led by Admiral Richmond. The Japanese were guilty on many war crimes during the World War II. These include the killing of up to 20 million Chinese people. They used biological weapons and tortured prisoners of war. As a result, many Japanese leaders were executed after the war, including Prime Minister Hideki Toho. The Soviet Union had been at peace with Japan during such a World War II. They attacked by surprise Japanese force in Manchuria on August 8, 1945. This helped in forcing Japan to surrender. Japanese fighter pilots would purposely crash their planes into US ships in what were called kamikaze attacks. The Japanese used very advanced tools for the war, but also they steal some weapons and other country advanced technology. For example, the Australian submachine gun. Japan stole this weapon when they attacked Australia. They stole this because they needed for occupying Papua New Guinea in 1942. The US Army telephone. This was used by Japan soldiers during the war, and this worked as a walkie-talkie. This was stolen from the US Army. Lumbering planes used by the US, but Japanese make replicas called Mitsubishi A6M0 fighters, which will be more faster and more effective at the moment to fight. But also they had their own technology, such as the Japan Naval Sextant, the railroads they craft, for example, in Thailand, Burma. One of the ones Japan had was a naval battle of Salvo Island sinking fort. Finally, in 1945, the Japanese army has been pushed back to Japan. However, Japan will not surrender. Americans felt that the only way to get Japan to surrender would be invade the main island of Japan. They figured this would cost the life of upon 1 million of US soldiers. President Harry Truman decided to use a new weapon called the atomic bombs. So when they used these atomic bombs, they dropped it on Hiroshima, Japan on August 6, 1945. It completely destroyed the city and killed thousands of people. Japan did not surrender. Another atomic bomb was dropped on Nagasaki, Japan. This time Japan decided to surrender. One man in particular, Masafumi Arima, was a pilot and an Imperial Japanese Navy admiral in the Second World War. Apparently, before the attack of the US craft carrier, he took all symbols and insignias of his rank and informed them under his command that he did not intend to come back alive, while some historians claim that he didn't actually hit his target. No damage was reported of any American ship in the area that day. This man was really important to Japanese history because he's one of the most important kamikaze attacks. He helped the army of Japan in the War of Midway. This one sacrificing health for the nation and for all Japanese.